Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, so last time, according to you, that we have discussed for unit test one, the three topics were remaining in the last time, that is spinner, data passing, and fragment. Spinner in 5 CSE1 and data passing and fragment in a both class. So last time we have seen fragment, right? Fragment and data passing is over, right? In both class. Use of fragment and data passing from one activity to another activity, is it completed, right?
No, sir. In CS1 is left.
What is remaining? Both?
Yes, sir.
CSC1 remaining, and what about other? Fragment is remaining. What about data passing? That is also remaining. And what about spinner in 5 CSE? 2. Okay. So what we have seen last time in a lecture? Okay, yeah, manuals. Fine. No issue. So as the data passing fragment and spinner is remaining, so let us start with the common topic, which is data passing from one activity to another activity, and if the time permit, then we will also see the fragment. Okay. Then only the 5 CSE1 spinner will be remaining, and I will tell the ma'am or whichever whoever is taking your lab, I will tell them to complete a spinner in 5 CSE1, so that your unit test one syllabus will be over. And check one more time the syllabus. If something is remaining, please let me know. Except the topic which you told me just now. Spinner, data passing and fragment के अलावा और कुछ बाकी है. And these topics are not in our syllabus in unit test 1, as I have already sent a mail regarding the syllabus for unit test 1. Okay, fine. So let us start with the data passing from one activity to another activity. So as we have already seen that how we can go from one activity to another activity. So let's create a new project. I'm just writing here the data pass as the application name 2021, 2022, and let's write here 31. Fine. Let me close the previous project. Okay. So first of all, so what we want, let me give you the example, or we can say, let me show you the demo. If I have, I have a past data. Okay, so that is username. Okay, find write Anand and 1234 as a password. And when I click on login, you can see here the username and the password which I have entered in the first activity. That is actually we have fetch into the second activity. So basically what we are doing, we are transferring, we are sending a data from one activity to another activity. So that is what the practical we are going to perform. Before that, we have to know that how we can go from one activity to another activity. अगर वो भी नहीं आता होगा तो वो भी complete हो जाएगा, don't worry. So let's go to the first activity and let's remove this label. Let's add the plain text. And let's add one button. Let me remove its text and let me remove this, and instead of taking the plain
Yes, sir.
text, let me, yes,
Please, start recording.
yeah. Okay, so instead of taking a general plain text, what I have taken is the password. Okay, you can see here the password field. Okay, so that I have taken, and I've just removed the text which is available, which was available, and let me click on the info constraint and let me check whether the design is fine or not. Okay, fine. Design is fine for me. Let me here give the one more property, that is hint. So I'm just setting the hint property. अगर आपको नहीं पता hint property क्या होती है, then hint property is like if you want to enter something. Suppose अभी आप जैसे run करके देखा तो यहाँ पे कुछ भी लिखा नहीं आ रहा है, right? But when you provide hint property, it will show you the hint what you need to enter. So once you trying to type it, whatever you are typing, then that hint will be disappear like that. So let me write here enter username, and for the other hint property enter password. Okay, so you can see here, and if I run here, so you will see here that enter username and enter password. This is nothing but hint. So when I entered some username, that hint will be disappear. And in case of password, so when I am entering the password, what will happen? As we are taking, instead of taking general plain text, I have taken the password, so that वो आपको password दिखेगा नहीं. As you know, आपने बहुत सारी बार, मतलब कई बार आपने इसका यूज किया होगा. But just I'm displaying. Okay, so how we can use a password field here. Now, next thing, what we need to do, we need to go to the resource and we need to add one more activity, as we have to go from one activity to another activity and we want to pass data from one activity to another activity. So how to add the activity? Okay, so for that, we just need to right click on the resource, go to new, then activity, and then empty activity. Okay, again resource, new, activity, and empty activity. So this is what we can say a path by which, this is how we can create another activity. By default, the name of activity will be main to activity, and the layout file name will be activity underscore main to. If you want to change, you can change it and just click on finish. I'm not changing, I'm keeping as it is. Okay, now in the second activity, first activity का जो design part था, that is completed. Now for the second activity, what I want a two text view. Why I want a two text view? Because in one text view I want to show the username, and for the other I want to show the password. Okay, so this is text view, and the ID for this is text view 2, and the same for the first one. This is plain, wait, this is edit text. This is edit text 3 because I have removed the one which is the second one. So it's plain text, edit text 3, and the ID for the button is button. Okay, so I'm just checking the ID so that I can write the code accordingly. Now let's go to in a main activity.java file. So अगर आपको नहीं पता, then whenever you create any activity, it will create a two file. The one is XML file for the designing and one is Java file. Okay, so जब भी आप activity create करते हो सिर्फ Java file नहीं create होती है, XML file भी create होती है, so that you can design and code as well. Okay, so now I'm going into the Java file of the first activity, and let me create the object of the different control which is available in a first activity. As we know that we have a three control. The two are the edit text, another one is the button. So let me create the object of edit text, which is et1 and et2, and I need the object of button as well. So that I'm taking as a btn as an object. So let me link here. This is what the two standard steps that we need to do. The first is the creation of object, and the second one is to link it with the particular control. First, the ID is edit text. For the second edit text, the ID is edit text 3. So find view by ID r dot edit dot edit text 3, and we also need to link it on the button as well. So btn equals to find view by ID r dot id dot button, as the ID for the button is button only. Now what we want कि जब भी मैं बटन पे क्लिक करूं, मतलब kind of let's say it's a login button. For first activity, let me change its text property to login. And what I want कि जब भी उसका यूजर नेम एंड पासवर्ड एंटर हो, एंड जब भी हम लोग बटन पे क्लिक करें, at that time it will check whether the username is this and the password is this. If that is the case, then it will go to the second activity, and it will also show the data which you have entered as a username and password. ठीक है, अगर यूजरनेम एंड पासवर्ड सही है तो ही जाएगा दूसरी एक्टिविटी में, अदरवाइज नहीं जाएगा. For that, let me create one function, and let me call it here in a on create method so that I don't forget to call later on. And here I'm providing its definition for click method. And when we need to do the verification, when we click on the button, so for button, the object is btn dot, as we need to click on that button, so we need to provide set on click listener, and in a parameter new and on click listener. Once it is done, now we can check if the first edit text, उसमें जो text है, अगर वो कोई हम लोग static text हम लोग पहले से define कर देते हैं, let's say it's Anand, or let's say my name I'm giving as Janardhan, and if the password is 1234, then only it will go to the second activity. Okay, if we click on the button. So for that, again, for the edit text 1, the object is at et1 dot get text dot toStrings. Okay, so using this what will happen कि हमारा जो भी edit text 1 है, जैसे कि यहाँ पे, so whatever we will enter here, okay, that will be we are getting to check कि ये इसके साथ मैच हो रहा है या नहीं. ठीक है, to get the data from here we need to call one method which is get text, and as we know that whatever data we are getting, it is not always in a string, so we need to convert into string as well. So et1 dot get text dot toStrings, dot equal is the method by which we can compare. So I'm comparing it with my name. So if the username is my name and if the password, that is et2 dot gettext dot toString dot equals, and if the password is 1234, then only it will go to on second activity, and else case it will show some toast message. One second. Okay, so as you have an expert talk, let me quickly finish this. Okay, so what we are doing, if जो यूजर नेम है एंड जो पासवर्ड है अगर जो हमने एंटर किया है उसके अगर साथ उसके साथ मैच नहीं होता, देन इट विल गो इनटू एल्स केस, एंड इन एल्स केस वी आर जस्ट प्रिंटिंग दैट प्लीज एंटर करेक्ट यूजर नेम और पासवर्ड और इनवैलिड यूजर नेम और पासवर्ड, invalid username or password, because we have given the AND condition, so both should be true, otherwise it will go into else case. Okay, so this is what it is done. So in else case everything is done. Now let's go to the if condition ki if it is correct, if the password and username which user have entered it's correct, and in that case we need to go from one activity to another activity, and using intent we can go it we can go from one activity to another activity. So intent object बना रहा हूँ मैं intent का, and in a parameter we need to pass two parameters. The first is the source activity, or we can say source activity, and the second one is the destination activity. ठीक है, तो उन दोनों का जावा का जो नाम है, मतलब जावा क्लास का है उसका नाम लिखना होता है. So for the first activity we know that it's a main activity dot this, and the destination activity is, if you see here you can see the name of java file which is main2 activity. In my case maybe अगर आपने change किया तो then you need to change the name, and here you make sure that instead of writing java, please write here the class. So this is what you need to do. So first you need to create the object of intent. You need to pass two parameters, and using the object of intent you just need to call one method with the one method which is start activity. Start activity is the method which we need to call, and in the parameter we need to pass the object of intent. So this is what we have done, and let's try to run it. Let's see what will happen. So what we have done till now, we have created the object of edit text and button, we have linked it. Okay, then we have created one more method, and we are calling that method, and in that we have provided button click listener, and in the if the button is click, we are checking if it is the username is this and the password is this, then we are just going from one activity to another activity, and if that is the not case, then we are just printing that username and password is invalid. Let's go to here and let's write here the correct password first time, 1234, and let's click on the button, and you can see here we are going into the second activity. So using intent we know that, and we can go from one activity to another activity, that is proved. Okay, So we are in a second activity, and you can see here the two text views. That means what? Because in a second text view we have given this two text view. So now we know that we are in a second activity. So we don't want to direct just go to on a second activity. We need to pass. We need to pass also some data. So how we can pass some data? So in between these two lines, before the start activities, you need to call one method on intent object, that is put extra method. So intent object dot put extra, and in that again there are two parameters. The one is the tag and the other is the data. तो टैग आपको क्या देना हो, कुछ भी आप स्ट्रिंग कोई भी एक टैग दे सकते हो जिसको आपको याद रखना होगा, एंड वो सेकंड एक्टिविटी में आपको यूज करना होगा. So that's why, and also it is case sensitive, so make sure you are remembering that tag और अच्छी तरह से उसको लिखना या फिर कॉपी पेस्ट कर देना. ठीक है. The first is the tag and the second is the data you want to pass. Okay, so let me give here the tag which is user. मैं tag दे रहा हूँ user, and the data which I want to pass is जो edit text का जो data आ रहा है वही मैं पास कर दूँ. So et1 dot get text dot toString. तो मैं यहाँ से सिर्फ डेटा पास कर रहा हूँ. तो ये तो हुआ एक ही डेटा पास. The same way we will pass the second data as well. And for the second, for the password, I'm giving the tag as a pass, and for the data I'm passing the edit text to content, which is et2 dot get text dot toString. ठीक है. तो ये दो लाइन से आप एक एक्टिविटी से दूसरी एक्टिविटी में जा सकते हैं. But if you want to pass some data as well, then you can, using the intent object, you can call one method which is put extra. In that there are two parameters which you need to pass. The one is the tag and the other one is what data you want to pass to the second activity. Okay, and again the semicolon is remaining. Okay, so that's it. So for this application and for this activity, not application, this activity, that the code is done. Now we need to go into the second activity. As we know that there are two text view, so let's create the object which is tv1 and tv2. Let's link it here. Not set text. Find view by id r dot id dot text view tv2 find view by id r dot id dot text view 2. Yes. So अगर आपको नहीं पता, then please check the id for that text view. वो second activity के जो दो text view मैंने लिए हैं उसके id आप check कर सकते हो. In my case, it is text view and text view 2, so that's why I'm taking the same. Now here is the different thing that we have to learn, that we need to create the object of intent here as well. Okay, and this time no need to create a new object. Whichever the object we have created, we are just getting the same intent. So here you need to write get intent, and using intent object again you need to last time we have, in while sending a data, we have used put extra. Now we will use get string extra method. Okay, but that we need to store somewhere, or we need to set to the text view. So that we are doing here using tv1 dot set text, and here we are using the object of intent dot get string extra. लास्ट टाइम हमने यहाँ जब मैंने सेंड किया डेटा तब मैंने यूज किया था put extra method and two parameters. The one is tag and another one is data. In the second activity we are using get string extra method, and here you need to pass your tag. For the text view 1 we need to show the data which is user data. So I'm using here the tag. अगर नहीं पता then please check the tag here. So that tag you need to write here. And for tv2 dot set text, again object of intent get string extra, and the tag is pass. And let me check the p is capital or not. No, p is not capital. So as it is a small, so now the coding is done, the text view, उनका जो link part कर दिया हमने, then creating the object of intent by using get intent, and then we are just setting the text view by using the method set text, and how we can get the data from the first activity अगर जो आपने pass किया है using the intent of object, and the method name is get string extra. There are also different way by which we can do it. So this is one of the way by which we can pass some data from one activity to another activity. So let's write here the username, and let's enter the correct password as well. Now let's click on the login, and you can see the data which I have passed. Okay, so username is Janardhan, and the password is 1234. And let's try the other also, that what if we don't enter the correct username and password. So let me write here some other name, and let me enter the correct password. As we know that we have used the AND condition, so you can see here it is saying invalid username or password, that is toast message it is displaying. So this is how you can go from one activity to another activity using intent object. ओके, सो मेन जो है वो यही है, ठीक है, और वी कैन से creating the object of intent start activity. By this we can go from one activity to another activity. If you want to pass some data, you can use this line of code, or we can say the method on the intent object, which is put extra, the tag you need to pass and the data. And whenever you are fetching data, the object of intent and the method name is get string extra, and here you need to again use the same tag. So I hope you understand how you can pass the data from one activity to another activity. So let me take your attendance, as you need to go to the expert talk, so that's why. I'm pasting the code which I have written, not whole code, but जो important code है वो. But before that, let me save your attendance. Okay, saved. Let me just copy paste the main code which I have written in a comment section, so that after this lecture also you can try it. If in case if it is giving some error, then you can use it for your reference. This is in a second activity Java file. This is for the first activity Java file. This is for the second activity Java file. Okay, and let me stop the recording now. And now please everybody please join the expert talk. Okay, Vidya ma'am already sent the link in a mail. Please check it. Okay, thank you.